Hello, everybody. Welcome to Broadway.com's Live at 5. It is Thursday, April 11th, and I am Ryan Lee Gilbert.
And I'm Beth Stevens.
And we are joined here in the studio by the remarkable Caitlin Moynihan.
Oh my gosh, hello.
And we have a very special guest with us today, one of our very favorite people on the planet,
Yes.
Mary Testa
Mary Testa
of
of
Oklahoma is here with us today.
Yay.
We're going to chat with her about this incredible, groundbreaking show and so much more. But first, let's talk about today's Top 5.
Tina's found her home.
Oh, we're so happy.
Tina Turner's coming.
We knew that Tina Turner, the musical, was coming to Broadway, but now we have a home for her and
does.
dates. I love to say her, but it's
Yes.
a whole
I mean,
whole
it's a whole show, but
it's a
it's
whole
her.
show
It's
starring
her.
Tony nominee Adrienne Warren, who will be reprising her Olivier-nominated turn as Tina Turner. I'm going to say
Yes.
turn as many times as possible. It will play the L'Enfantin Theater beginning October 12th, and opening night is set for November 7th, so we got to wait till the fall.
Yes, but not that
But
far
not
away.
that far.
Time flies, guys.
All the hits of Tina Turner that you know and love, a book by Katori Hall, and directed by Phillida Lloyd, who, of course, directed Mamma Mia.
Right.
Additional casting to be announced.
Yeah,
So
there's
we
a
don't-
lot.
There's a lot of parts, but we'll see. We'll see.
And we found out two more people who are heading to the Heights.
Yes, nothing creates a buzz in our newsroom like In the Heights
We're
news
buzzing.
and casting. Like once that
we're
goes
vibrating.
out, and it's exciting stuff. Young stars Melissa Barrera and Leslie Grace have been added to the film's cast. They will be playing Vanessa and Nina, respectively. It is slated to premiere on June 26th of 2020, so a little over a year away. But
But they're already rehearsing.
But they're already rehearsing. The filming is taking place now. Barrera is known for her roles in the telenovelas Siempre Tuya Acapulco
Very
and
good.
Tanto
Ooh.
Amor. Well, I go to Mexico a lot,
You got a head nod.
it's-
Mary Testa gave you a head nod.
Approved.
Approval.
She was also seen in the Mexican reality show La Academia. And Grace is a singer-songwriter who made her mainstream debut as the bilingual cover of the Shirelles hit Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow.
You're not going to sing it for us?
That's
could.
not me.
All right.
That's
Okay.
not me.
That's not your that's not your area.
Exactly. They joined Corey Hawkins and Anthony Ramos in the film. It is being directed by John M. Chu. Additional casting for the movie is going to be forthcoming.
But it's really happening.
But it's really happening. And as Lynn warned us today, there are lots of little rumors.
Lynn who? Lynn?
Lin-Manuel Miranda. You may have heard of him. There are little rumors out there about some of the cast members, but we don't know anything until he says it himself. And so very
tweets
exciting
it.
stuff. He tweets it.
Yeah.
And Saturday night on Broadway is getting a whole new meaning.
This is one classy thing that's coming.
It
Isn't
is.
So
It
we are
absolutely
talking
is.
about the musical of Mr. Saturday Night. This is a Billy Crystal movie.
Started as like an SNL sketch, right? Or character?
I think
and
it's
then-
based on Billy Crystal himself. It's semi-autobiographical, and now added to the creative team is Jason Robert Brown and Amanda Green.
Big names. Good
So
people.
we got some
Yeah.
talent happening. Here, I don't have a lot of information here,
No.
so I'm just going to say there will be a workshop in May. This is in the developmental stage, but it's about rising young comedian Buddy Young Jr. and his struggle to make a mark in show business. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
stuff.
excited.
There's been an off-Broadway director switcheroo.
Yes, so Christopher Shin's Pulitzer finalist play Dying City, we knew that was coming to second stage, and initially announced to be directing that was Lila Neugebauer, but now Christopher Shin will be directing his own play. It will begin previews on May 14th, will open on June 3rd at Off-Broadway's Tony Kaiser Theater. It will play through June 30th, stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Colin Woodell in their New York stage debuts. That's very exciting. And if you're unfamiliar with Dying City, it is set in a spare Manhattan apartment where a young widow receives an unexpected visit from the twin brother of her deceased husband.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah, you had to say it.
there it is. There's
deserved
the
a new.
yes,
Drama.
drama unfolds. But very exciting. Christopher Shin directing his own work. That'll be
Good
great.
stuff.
And some stage favorites are headed to Encores this summer.
This is a fun cast.
It is.
We
I
are
love both of
talking
these.
about High Button Shoes at Encores, the 1947 musical. Listen to the cast. Are you ready?
I am.
Michael Urie, Betsy Wolfe, Aidan Alberto, three-time Tony nominee Kevin Chamberlain, one of our faves.
Yes.
Directed by John Rando. So this will play
stuff.
May 8th through the 12th at New York City Center. And this is the final production of Encores this season.
It is. That's right.
This season. We have more things to talk about.
Yes, there are some fun things on the site. Gideon Glick's vlog.
Gideon Glick's vlog, in
Yes.
which he talks about being having the archives of the New York City Library for the Performing Arts. It's hard to say.
Oh.
They filmed it, and then he
That's
has
right.
a little sit down with Stark Sands.
Yeah, it's been which is really adorable.
Always
but
fun.
yeah, because his show people was yesterday and his vlog is today. Lots of Gideon on the site. We got to see the Who's Tommy, the cast of that new production going up. They rehearsed today. We got some footage of that, which is very exciting. They all sound great. Casey Cott singing those cots.
Those cots.
Those cots are so talented. As well as Christian Borle, Manny Gonzalez, lots of great people.
Oh, those Tony winners.
You know those guys that make a
Those
living doing
guys.
this. We got a first look at Hadestown.
I'm going to see it tonight. I'm excited.
Oh, very exciting. Production photos of that. And Something Clean had a press day with Catherine Irby, Daniel Jenkins, and Christopher Livingston. More info about that show on the site as well. Good stuff. Lots of stuff for you to look at and read today. But don't do anything right now, because Mary Testa is going to be joining me in just a second. Thank you so
I'm
much,
going to do
Beth.
something right now. I'm going to get out of here.
Yes, you're done.
I'm gonna go
Thank
have
you.
some cornbread and
Go
chili.
have some cornbread and chili, yes. Caitlin, would you tell us a little bit about today's guest?
Gladly, yes. We have Mary Testa in the studio with us today. She's currently appearing in Oklahoma as Aunt Eller on the Broadway. She earned Tony nominations for her work in On the Town and 42nd Street. Her other Broadway credits include Guys and Dolls, Wicked, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, Barnum, and a whole lot more. You may have seen her on screen in Whoopi, The Battery's Down, Jack in the Box, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She can do everything and anything. Follow Oklahoma BUA on social media to stay up to date on all things Oklahoma and all things Miss Mary Testa. Please leave all of your questions in the comments below, and please welcome Mary and Ryan.
Mary, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm
I'm
fantastic. I want to say I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I love this show
Thank
so
you.
much.
I do
love
too.
you in this show.
Thank you.
It's an absolutely remarkable production. If you haven't seen it yet, go to the Circle in the Square Theater. Check out this Oklahoma. It is what Broadway is made for, in my
Thank
opinion.
you.
I mean, it's incredible.
I feel the same way about it, and it's a very interesting production in that it has its ardent lovers and its ardent haters.
Yeah, I mean it is, but I think the best work is
Yeah.
divisive in that
That's
way,
art.
right?
That's art, art. And the nice thing about it, there's a lot of nice things, but it provokes conversation, which
Certainly.
is really wonderful.
Yeah, well, there's one thing that you've said for a long time that I've always made me change my mind. You've said that you don't go to the theater or movies to enjoy them, to be entertained. You go to be challenged.
That's what
and
I
that
prefer.
is something that this
Yes.
show, I think, certainly does.
That's the kind of work I prefer. Not everybody does, and that's cool. I don't judge, but that's what I like. And the
Yeah.
older I'm getting, the more simple I want things, and the more sort of stripped bare that I want.
Yeah.
And that's really certainly this show.
Certainly.
So yeah, it's right up my alley.
And I want to dig into, so it is...
Am I supposed to be looking at this
You
camera?
can do whatever you like.
want.
He's going to
Okay.
follow you wherever
right.
you are.
Okay.
I want to dig into that a little bit because it is a version of Oklahoma we have never seen before. When you first got involved, you were involved at Bard's Summerscape.
Let me correct you. This Oklahoma, nothing has changed in the script.
You're fair.
It
Yes.
is the
Yeah, that's
entire
right.
script of Oklahoma, the music of Oklahoma, everything is the same. It's
Right.
just the approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you've been involved since the very beginning,
Yeah.
the workshops.
Yeah.
What did when Daniel Fish started to tell you about what he was thinking of this looking like and how you were going to present this, what did you make of that? What went through your head?
First of all, Daniel didn't say, this is what I'm going to do. We just sort of did it. We just sat around a table when we first started and just went through the script to see what made sense, because they knew they weren't going to use a chorus, and he
Right.
knew he knew that he wasn't going to use a chorus and the way it's normally done. So we sort of went through the script to see what makes sense and what can, because he had to cut some stuff, and reassign something. So that's the work we did first. And then Daniel has his own way and his own vision. So he doesn't let you in on it. He just does it.
Right.
And it's a wildly entertaining for me anyway. I find him hilarious, and it's very entertaining and sometimes very frustrating because it's kind of, and I've said this to him, so I'm not like speaking behind his back. It's about his process first, and so you kind of have to get on board with that. Then you realize that what Daniel is doing and ultimately where he goes with it is kind of perfect. So you just have to get on board.
Right.
So it's been an interesting and totally satisfying for me because the simple sort of truth of the script is what we worked on the whole time.
And just in terms of it, I know that I'm not giving anything away here, but just in terms of how you have made the audience part of the community in this. The lights stay on, you can see each other because it's in the Circle and the Square Theater. Everyone can see each other, but there are you as the cast members cast glances at audience members.
Occasionally,
like
So
you reel
good.
them in these little simple ways. There is such a vision going on here that what is the most rewarding part of it for you at this point?
The most rewarding, okay, I'm going to go off now because I'm like,
Yes.
Please.
the most rewarding part is when people are quiet and when they're listening.
Theater etiquette.
A lot of the times that is not the case. And so in a production like this, when people are opening candies and moving around and looking at their cell phones, it's not very rewarding. It's really
imagine.
frustrating.
Yeah.
So it's sort of magnified because of the way this production is set up.
Totally.
But when they are in it and rapt and horrified and all of those things, it's magnificent.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And I feel like something that's sort of in vogue right now on Broadway and in the theater scene is this sort of like, let's be more feminist forward with these shows, like in some to greater success than others. But this, I feel like, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, I feel like it owns that in a very, like, these women are just, I mean, I don't want to say strong women because all women are strong, but this is just it owns that so well.
Absolutely. You know, the script has misogyny running rampant through it.
Yeah.
And we didn't do anything different. It's just in the women that are cast in this piece have a strength about them, and it's just the truth of how we play these lines that make you realize that these women are strong and can make their own decisions. And I'm not sure that that's emphasized. I have not seen a lot of Oklahoma productions. So I'm not sure it's emphasized in any others. I really don't know, but it is in ours.
Yeah, certainly. And with that casting that you mentioned, in terms of the groundbreaking that's been done with Rebecca Naomi Jones being the first person of color to play her Laurie, and you've got Ali Stroker in her wheelchair. How do you think, like, what layers do you think all of that and their being in the show add to the overall vision of this?
Well, I don't see any of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
With Allie, I don't even think you notice her wheelchair.
You don't. No.
And it doesn't matter if you do or not. She's a woman in a wheelchair,
Right.
and that's what it is. I think it just shows you that Rodgers and Hammerstein and Oklahoma is like Shakespeare. It's a piece that can always be relevant and that can always resonate. And I think even 50, 75 years from now, however they're doing theater then, if they still are, who knows, that it will still, however they set it up, it will still resonate because these themes are human themes and human foibles and human flaws. And obviously, we have not progressed really any further than 75 years ago.
You're right.
So,
No, absolutely.
it's the same stuff. So I personally don't see it. I mean, maybe an audience member does, but I just think, we are an integrated world, and that's the way it is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if you were in the room or not, but what do you think went into sort of convincing Ted Chapin, the people over at Rodgers and Hammerstein, that this, to sort of take the risk on telling this version?
Ted has always been involved from the very beginning. Ted was around, and I don't know what their meetings were.
Right.
I wasn't
So
privy.
here's what we're thinking.
I wasn't privy, but obviously he's on board.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. I think that there have been a couple of productions, like the gender switch production.
Oh, right,
That
yes.
that they were seriously considering. I think
believe so,
Broadway
yeah.
move, and then the all black black version. So there have been many productions, and I'm glad ours made it.
Yeah, there are a couple of culture writers that I love. Casey Mink over at Backstage and Louis Pietzman, I believe is. And they describe this production, and I want to hear you.
He's
Pardon
great.
me for being vulgar for a moment, but they describe this production as an Oklahoma that fucks.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's pretty sexy.
I want to know what that.
I don't do social media. I loathe it. But apparently, we have a chat. We all chat. And apparently he said, if you're not horny when the lights go down in Surrey, something wrong with you.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sort of paraphrasing
No,
what
but
he
you're
said.
right.
But,
What do you make? What does that mean to you that the show that you're in fucks? What is that?
Because there's the simmering desires
Yeah.
and sexual awakening and examining the id and the ego and all of that in this show. It's very like the Dream Ballet is all about her sexual awakening and her sort of all of that. So I think it's great.
I think so too.
You know?
I agree. It does. And as somebody, you've been open about that. You are a theater veteran. You are very smart. You thrive when you get to.
I am.
You thrive when you get to collaborate and challenge a little bit. How has that experience played into the Aunt Eller that we see on stage?
Well,
in this
I
Oklahoma?
said this. Yeah, I did a little speech at the New School, or did a little question and answer thing at the New School the other day, and I said, you have got, I always approach characters at what is the similarities with me and then what is the differences, you know what I mean? So I just feel like I'm just sort of reacting to the truth of the situation, or I'm trying to anyway. And if that's, what was your question?
Just that, like, in terms,
Tired.
How did I don't think I phrased it very well. How did this experience get to light all of those little fires that you enjoy?
Well, because I think the script is really good, and I think Aunt Eller has got a lot of flaws, and I love a character with flaws.
Yeah.
And I welcome the opportunity to not be liked by an audience. That's something that's really like knife edge. Like as a performer, you just want the audience to love you and be sympathetic to you. And that's not always the best way to serve the character. So in the end, when Aunt Eller is a little bit racist, I kind of enjoy it.
Right. Well, you also get to end. I feel like you get the ending mantra of just sort of shit happens.
Yeah.
And you
just got to deal with it.
Right. What kind of what are you thinking about when you're selling that moment at the end? Or
that's truth, man. That's truth. Like stuff happens to everybody and happens constantly. It's cradle to grave. And the only thing that's different is how you deal. And you just have to deal.
Right.
It's just, that's what it is,
Yeah,
You can't shake your fist to the heavens and say, why me?
Right.
You have to just say, okay, let me just deal with the cards that are dealt,
Certainly. And I want to start taking questions from people that are watching.
Oh, yay.
But just as a final, on my side of things, this is almost 40 years that you've been doing
42,
this.
yeah.
42 years.
Yeah.
What has been the hardest lesson for you from making your Broadway debut in Barnum to just absolutely owning this show in Oklahoma?
That's very nice of you to
What
say.
has
Thank
been
you.
the hardest lesson for you?
I don't think it's a hard lesson, but the biggest thing I can tell performers or young performers is just about persisting. When people don't believe in you, you believe in yourself, and you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and doing the best work you can possibly do in every given moment. Sometimes it's not as great as you want it to be, and this is that Martha Graham quote, you can't judge the work. You just have to do the work. You can't judge it. You have to just be an open vessel.
Yeah.
And I don't think any lesson has been particularly hard because I'm sort of a realistic person anyway. So I think, you know what, let me answer that question because this is a whole can of worms.
Please, this is your time.
I'll just deal with it in a way that I am very angry with the way things are cast. Because I'm a character actor and I know lots of great character actors. And character actors fall in love and have, moments just like leading actors do. And so it really kind of annoys me and always has. This is the hardest lesson with the way, like, no, you're a character. You got to be a character. You can't be a lead. And I think that's awful.
Yeah. No, it's bullshit.
Yeah. and I always have, and I've been very vocal about that.
Yeah.
You remember Rick McKay's, I'm on camera saying that. Like, I want to play a lead.
Absolutely.
And I know lots of people who do.
Yeah.
But the way that things are cast, that probably won't happen. A romantic lead, that probably won't happen. And that's a kind of a hard pill to swallow.
I bet.
But you wend your way, you find your way. So the hardest lesson is that, I think.
Right. And I think you found your way. I think
I find my way. I'll
I
do
think
all
you
right.
did.
I just gotta say, if a door closes, just go through the window.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Caitlin,
Love
what
that.
would some of our viewers like to know from Mary?
We got so many questions.
Is that right? Oh, I like
it's very
that.
true. It's very
Okay.
true. So Tyler asks, having that live band right in the middle of the stage is such a part of the experience, and at times they almost seem like part of the cast.
They are.
Is the relationship off stage between the cast and the band different from other musicals that you've worked on, and what's it been like for you?
No. Well, other musicals, you don't see the band a lot.
Yeah.
They're downstairs or they're in a pit and they go and they do their own thing.
Yeah.
This band has been with us since Bard for the most part.
That's
with a
nuts.
couple
Yeah.
of additions. And so we are like a big family. And they're exquisite people. They are so good. Each one is a master at what they do. And together they're fantastic. And it's a lovely group of people. And it's like a family.
And that steel guitar.
Oh,
so I'm
is that the best?
obsessed.
And Brett, that's
Like-
Brett. He's fabulous and funny, and
Oh, my
they all
goodness.
are. They're
Yeah.
just lovely, lovely people. And that steel guitar is the best thing.
It really is.
know.
Like, I can't stop
I'd
thinking
like
about
a steel
it.
guitar to follow me around in my whole life.
Give me my
Just to give me
soundtrack.
wow.
Exactly.
Like all of that.
I'm with you.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
Yeah.
I love that. So Nancy wants to know, you mentioned you guys are like your family, but what has the experience been able to kind of bring the show in different places and ultimately come to Broadway with such a good chunk of the same people? What's that been like for you?
It's been wonderful because we trust each other so much that we have each other's backs. It doesn't matter what happens, and everybody is so wonderful, and it's just been great. The difference in different spaces has been different spaces,
Right.
So it's had to have been looked at and tweaked
Yeah.
for each space, because each space was different. Bard was like kind of a rectangle. St. Anne's was two-sided, and now we're horseshoe. So that's just makes for different moving people around a little differently.
Was there ever a moment though where you were did you ever say like, I'm gonna be making cornbread while I have to
Listen, it's better than churning butter. At one point, I was churning butter when we were up at Bard.
no.
That
is
She's
and it
strong.
made so much noise. I guess that's in the script.
Yeah.
She churns
Right.
She
butter,
churns the butter.
but it's
Yeah.
the noisiest.
Yeah.
And finally,
It's work,
oh
too.
my God, it's
It's-
hilarious.
You
Actually.
got the arms. Yes.
And I said to Daniel, what are we going to make our own honey? Now you're going to bring bees in? But we got rid of the churn and butter real fast.
No, I think the cornbread's an easier.
yeah, the
for
cornbread's easier, yeah.
Oh
But
my
people
gosh.
think that they eat the cornbread that I make.
I convinced myself I did.
Yeah, I know.
I
No.
said
I'm
I'm
still
eating
telling
Mary
myself.
Testa's
No, that would
cornbread.
be kind of disgusting. Because last night I was stirring it and there was a big hair in it. I was like, oh dear. It was
know what?
Rebecca's.
Authentic.
It was Rebecca's.
It's 1906, Oklahoma. It's authentic. It's,
Sometimes there's eggshells in there. You don't want to
right.
eat that.
we are
Breaking the
pioneers
cord.
ourselves.
Amazing. And this will be our last question, and this is very important on this topic. Jim wants to know, do you ever get to eat the chili and cornbread yourself?
I have not had the chili. Oh,
That's
I
good.
understand it's vegetarian.
It
is.
is.
But I have snitched a couple of pieces of cornbread. When we
Cornbread's
finish
delish.
the top of Act 2 and we walk through and say whole bottle, there's cornbread off stage because they've just finished gathering everything, and we snitch a few pieces. Of
I
it.
would.
You
Yeah.
deserve
It's
it.
really good.
Also, though, this is maybe a stupid question. Is it Bud Light that you're all just? It's,
No,
I mean,
it's
no.
seltzer
I was
water.
gonna say
Seltzer.
Bud Light makes you so gassy. Like I would be so.
I think up at
Seltzer does
Bard,
too.
they were drinking beer.
I would right.
They were drinking beer, but that gets expensive.
Yeah, and just beer burps.
they
Like
sell
equity
it.
There's-
rules,
but, you know,
drinking
like,
on
I know.
stage. equity.
Right.
Yes.
Well, no, we are huge fans over here
Yes.
of you and of
Thank
this
you
show.
very much. I appreciate it.
Of
Thank
course, make sure you go check out Mary Testa and the
Do
incredible
come.
cast.
And be
of-
quiet.
Be quiet.
No cell phones.
No, just because the light's on you doesn't mean you're part of the show. Enjoy.
Well, you are part of the
You
show.
are, but you're
just
not.
be quiet.
Go see Oklahoma, Circle in the Square Theater. I think you have a lot of exciting things coming your way this season.
Thank you.
I
That's so
think,
nice.
yeah, no, absolutely incredible. And thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming
very
by.
much.
Come
My
see us
pleasure.
again
I always
soon.
have a good time doing this.
Well, we love having you.
Thank you.
Caitlin, would you take us out, please?
Yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We are live at 5 every single day on Facebook. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts by searching for #live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. We talk to Neil Huff from To Kill a Mockingbird.